Africa bukala bangwele wema Africa bukala bangwele Africa bukala bangwele wema Alala Alala Rain falling like a symphony on the rooftop of my heart. There's a movement in silence before this big dream starts. I see your eyes shining like a neon light. You smiling in the dark. Ooh, what made you so strong? What made you so strong? See you walking in a marketplace, you buy political regret. You've been walking on water again. You know your feet never get wet. You just say Africa bukala bangwele Africa bukala bangwele wema Africa bukala bangwele Africa bukala bangwele wema Alala Alala I say a prayer for the innocent ones. Say a prayer for our love. Say a prayer for peace on the earth, for the daughters and the son. While your life unfolds like a cheap street fight, smiling in the dark. Ooh, what made you so strong? What made you so strong? I've been waiting all my life for this, to see how the deal goes down. There's AK-47 on the dashboard, you know mercy's down. Africa bukala bangwele Africa bukala bangwele wema Africa bukala bangwele Africa bukala bangwele wema Alala Africa bukala bangwele Africa bukala bangwele wema Africa bukala bangwele Africa bukala bangwele wema Bangwele wema Africa bukala bangwele wema Africa bukala bangwele Bangwele wema Africa bukala bangwele wema Alala Alala
Scott. Yeah.
Oh, Scott. Thank you very much. Welcome this evening. We've got a kind of a buffet of songs here, straddling some 30 years from the Juluka period through the Savuka period to the Johnny Clegg period and to the current time. This one takes us back to the second Juluka album. This was a hit for us at that time. It's a little prayer for all us Africans called African Sky Blue. African sky blue, your children wait for the dawn. African sky blue, soon a new day will be born. African sky blue, African sky blue, will you bless my life? African sunshine, soon you will warm your children's eyes. The African river water will dance and leap in your morning light. African sunshine, African river water, will you bless my life? Ah, will you bless my life? Ah, will you bless my life? Ah, will you bless my life? What can I know? What can I dream? What can I hope? Tell me, what will the future bring? You shine through me. Will you see me through? African sky blue, will you see me through? Soldiers march through the air. The African rain will fall and wash away all my fear. African falling rain, African falling rain, will you bless my life? Ah, will you bless my life? Ah, will you bless my life? Ah, will you bless my life? Thank you very much. Siyabonga abantu benkosi. Sijabula kuthola lithuba kubanani. Baie dankie almal. Siyaliboga bagisu. So, I started this 50 years ago. I was 14. 1967. I met a chap from Emabomvini Msinga who was playing street music. His name was Charlie Mzila, and I said, can you teach me Zulu guitar? And he said, yes. 2 years later, I met Sipho Mqunu, and we started Johnny and Sipho. The style of Maskanda music has changed a lot. In that time, Zulu street music, you could hear it every day, all day long, concertina and guitar music. And my mom was a jazz singer and a cabaret singer. And when I used to rehearse, it used to really irritate her, because street music is about being out in the street. And so I'm going to give you just a little example. It's a walking song, and what that is, it's a song that you use to get from one place to another. It's a cycle of melody and rhythm. It's like a big wheel, and you get inside it. And so I would rehearse my walking song in my room. And 20 minutes later, my mom would bang on the door, and she'd say, "What are you doing?" And I'd say, I'm playing my Zulu music. "You're killing me. This is Chinese water torture." So I said, "Why?" "Katanka, katanka, katanka, katanka. It's so monotonous. It doesn't go anywhere." You know, jazz singers, they can't sing the same note twice. So I said, no, Ma, it's a walking song. So in other words, the song doesn't have to go anywhere. You have to use the song to go somewhere. That's the trick. And you have to surrender yourself to the cycle and be happy that it's coming around again. And it's nice and predictable, just like you're walking. So here's a little walking song. The first one that I learned, and it says, this year, all the girls have ignored me. In what way have I made a problem for myself? So, and so this is the bass line. So that goes on forever. Let me put this down a bit. And then the forefinger goes. So here we go, put them together. So I played that for 7 years with Sipho, and we went to all the hostels. We couldn't play in public much during the laws of cultural segregation, the Group Areas Act, the Separate Amenities Act, and many other acts. So we played in private venues, your lounge. We played in schools, private schools. We played in churches. We played in university private theaters. We played a lot. At that time, it was the consulate circuit. So on the Saturday, the American consulate would have a cultural evening, and then the Sunday, the French. So we did every country, you know, traveling around, Johnny and Sipho playing their Maskanda music. Later on, in 1976, I had my first hit.
And that song I'd like to play for you now. And the story is actually, I'm a social anthropologist by vocation and training, and a musician by accident. I spent 12 years at university, and in my 4th year of teaching, I decided to become a professional musician. But before that, in order to get there, I had to finish an honors degree, and I didn't have any money, and so I had to find employment. And I answered an advert to part-time manage a chicken farm in Knoppislaagte, which is just here by Diepsloot. It's 44 kilometers north of Johannesburg. So 5:30 in the morning till 12, all the chickens and eggs I could eat for free, and a place to stay. And I thought, as a student, that was brilliant. So I worked there for 6 months, and then had enough money and finished my honors degree and started teaching. But it was one of the experiences there. I was supposed to be the manager, so on Monday morning at 5:30 we'd meet, and there were 15 guys. And when I had my interview with the farmer, he said to me, "You speak Zulu?" I said, "Fluently." He said, "Thank God." He said, "These guys, it's very hard for me sometimes to explain what I need, for them to do for the week." I said, "No, that's fine. Don't worry." It turns out they were all illegal immigrants from Malawi. So I learned to say Molobwanje, Kayenu, Didibuinu. So I learned a little bit of Isnyanja. Anyway, one really cold July morning, we were standing freezing, and he was telling us what to do on the Monday morning. And one of the guys next to me scuffed his toe, and he said, "Ach, was a Friday," which means come Friday. And I was just so cold, and I thought that is the most brilliant 2 words summing up what everybody here feels. I'm going to write a song about it. So what I did is I took, at that time, folk music, and a picking style called a hammer claw picking style was very popular. Bob Dylan and all these guys, and Paul Simon and Garfunkel, they were using it. And I thought, I'm gonna write a song in Zulu, but to a kind of a country and western folk music background. I'm just going to quickly translate. The words are, "Webaba kunzima kulo mhlaba." Dad, he's writing a letter home. This is his first job. "You're right, the world is a tough place. Webaba umsebenzi ubhokile. Dad, work is overcoming me, it's killing me. Angathi leli viki lingaphela. I wish this week would come to an end now. Was a Friday, my darling. Come Friday, my darling. Wilanga linkomile wena. You are the one that I will be betrothed to forever." And right at the end, I say goodbye. I'm going now, in English, which is a kind of tongue-in-cheek. Anyway, it was restricted on Radio Zulu. At that time, SABC was totally government-owned, and they had 3 levels of censorship: political, sexual, and religious. If you said anything that undermined the security of the state, or if anything you said was too promiscuous, or if you undermined religion in any way, your song would not be played. But there was a 4th one which I didn't know. It was called the Cultural Purity Rule. And it was a kind of a logical deduction. If we're going to make homelands, then we have to protect languages, and these languages mustn't be diluted by other languages. So all the songs and all the adverts and everything have to be in the language of whatever station it is. And so advertising agencies they loved this, because they'd have to make an advert in every single language many times over and charge for it. So I went in to see, this is crazy. And the person in charge of Radio Zulu said, "John, what's the word for Friday?" And I said, "Olwesihlanu." She said, "Why didn't you use it?" I said, "Because it's a Olwesihlanu. It's 5 syllables. I'm a songwriter." And I was affected by somebody who said to me, "Was a Friday." So she said, "Yes, but that's English." I said, "Well, was a Olwesihlanu? It doesn't scan nicely." She said, was a Friday my dali? What's my dali? I said, Gugulami. So she said, so I said, all of this is actually, it's here to make you smile. It's here to give you a sense of what it is to be a worker. And this is the language that my workers speak, and I'm translating it. So she said, well, I'm sorry, we're not allowed to play the song. So I said, okay, hang on a second. What is the word for table in Zulu? And she said, itafula. I said, from Afrikaans, tafel. Knife, umese. Mes, Afrikaans. Fork, umfoloko. From English, fork. So I said, imoto, motor. All languages, if we live together in one society, we would be able to influence and shape each other's worldviews through language, and we're being separated here forcefully. So I said, it's crazy. So she said, well, we're not lifting the ban. Now, South Africa has always been historically the preeminent country in the world for political irony. And 3 months later, this song went to #1 on Radio Sotho. And my first show with Sipho was in Seshego, in the township in Polokwane. So I'd like to remember those days and play you this song. We baba, unzima kulo mhlaba. We baba, lo msebenzi uphokile. We baba, nemali ayingeni. Awungathile lifikile ngaphela. We baba, we baba. We baba, unzima kulo mhlaba. We baba, lo msebenzi uphokile. We baba, nemali ayingeni. Awungathile lifikile ngaphela. We baba, we baba. Awungithi was a Friday, my darling. Was a Friday, seventh ukolile. Was a Friday, my sweetie. Was a Friday, ilanga likolile. We baba, unzima kulo mhlaba. We baba, lo msebenzi uphokile. We baba, nemali ayingeni. Awungathile lifikile ngaphela. We baba, we baba. Awusithi was a Friday, my darling. Was a Friday, msebenzi uphokile. Was a Friday, my sweetie. Was a Friday, ilanga likomile. Awungithi was a Friday, my darling. Was a Friday, msebenzi uphokile. Was a Friday, my sweetie. Was a Friday, ilanga likomile.
I'm going now.
Anyway, so there was a Zulu saying when I grew up, "Iskini asakumuzi." A guitar will never build a homestead. So any man whose daughter is being courted with a man with a guitar, he must watch that man. And this was even worse, the concertina, because it's like a little breathing animal. If you listen carefully. Can you imagine that 12 o'clock at night on your phone? So the Zulu called it Izimbambuzga Satan, which means Satan's rib cage. Anyway, these two instruments were taken, they're Western instruments, and they were reconfigured and they were Africanized. The Zulu guitar is tuned and played in a completely unique indigenous way. It's a unique guitar style which figures with blues music and all the other kinds of guitar music that exist. The same with the concertina. You buy this for 2,000 Rand, then you take it to George Goch Men's Hostel, to a certain room, you knock on the door, and there's an old guy, and he opens it up, and you say, "Sawubona Baba," and he says, "Yes," and you say, "Ngicela ukuthi ungilungisele inkosini. Please, will you fix my concertina?" Look, there's nothing wrong with it, just bought it at the shop. But he takes it apart, and he changes all the buttons around in about 40 minutes, and you can play Zulu music on it. And that's how, and it's another 1,000 Rand. So, that's how he pays his rent. He's a concertina button changer. So this is the traditional also, which I've used a lot in my music right throughout my career.
don't you know that I have to say, time is a distance, distance is a space. I've come so far to find you, it's you I can't replace. When I feel the hidden power lies inside the sound, the ghost inside the atom, spinning round and round. Magic in some words, something you can't explain. Conjures up that feeling of sun inside the rain. When the wind is blowing like a lonesome train, I reach out and touch you, I call your name. When the night is lonesome and I fear the coming day, I reach out and touch you, I call your name. I call your name. I call your name. I call your name.
Thank you very much. Those of us who have lived through the revolution will know either somebody who paid the ultimate sacrifice at some point during the struggle, and the terrible period between 1990 and 1994, where the country was going through tremendous upheaval. I want to go back to that time, because all countries go through seasons. They go through summer, they go through autumn, winter, which is what we seem to be going through a bit now for some time, as we get our house in order. We're youngsters in this game, and the wonderful thing to see is SCOPA and our parliamentary democracy functioning and getting things in order. But this nearly never happened. We are lucky to be here. And my mentor, who I met in 1978, Dudu Ndlovu, he was the dancer in Chuluga and in Savuga, and we danced together all over the world, from Sao Paulo to Korea to Japan, Canada, everywhere. I studied under him a particular style called Umzansi, which I liked very much, and became the style that Juluka played. And in 1992, he was assassinated in the political violence. I had many other friends who are on different sides also who passed away. I wrote this song for him. The Zulu believe that when you die, your spirit goes through a period of wandering between this and the next world. And they believe the spirit has memory. Although linear time stops, everything seems to be happening in the same moment, and the spirit is waiting to wake up. And it has all the human appetites, but it has no body. And so rituals of mourning, a married woman must wear her black duk or some black outfit for a year, in case the spirit comes back to the homestead. And he keeps seeing his wives with this duk on, or this black, and performing rituals. So they believe that after a period of about a year, spirit is tired, and that's when they propel it through a ritual called ukubuyisa idlozi, and they propel it to become an ancestor. And I thought this was a very powerful metaphor for what we were going through, because I flew back from Los Angeles in 1992 to bury my brother and go through the first part of this ceremony, and then a year later to bring him back. It seemed to me that it was a metaphor for where we were in South Africa in that time. The old order wouldn't die, so the new order couldn't be born. We were like Dudu's spirit, trapped in this one moment. And I wrote this song for him called The Crossing.
That eat away every breath that I take. Through all the nights I have lain alone in someone else's dream awake. All the words in truth that have been spoken, that the wind just blows away. Oh, it's only you that remains with me, clear as the light of day. Kosiyeza, Kosiyeza, sizofika webaba noma. Kosiyeza, Kosiyeza, siyavuka lo mhlaba. Sinawela zaphesheya kulezo ndaba zemnyama, lapha sobeka phansi konke kuhlubeka. A punch-drunk man in a downtown bar takes a beating without making a sound. His soul eyes, oh, he sways and he smiles, 'cause no one can put him down. Like him, a boy looks up to his father for a sign or an approving eye. Oh, it's funny how those ones so close and now gone still so perfect our life. Kosiyeza, Kosiyeza, sizofika webaba noma. You know the tide is turning. Kosiyeza, the tide is turning. I make my crossing. Oh, for the dark lands. I touch your face. I lay me down. Kosiyeza, sizofika webaba noma. You know the tide is turning. Kosiyeza, over the dark land. I will touch your face. I leave it down. Never feel the face. I'm coming. Yes, I'm coming. You know I'm coming home.
Thank you so much. We're going to have a little break now and catch you a bit later. Have a great evening.
Waze wathinta amabubesi impi onansimpliyesa ubani bengathinta amabubesi impi onansimpliyesa ubani bengathinta amabubesi impi Onansipieza ubani bega tita mabubesi impi Onansipieza ubani bega tita mabubesi all along the river Chelsea Samile asleep Come to crush the children of Mageba. Come to exact the realm's price for peace. And in the morning, as they saddle up to ride, I shone with the fire and the steel. The general told them of the task that lay ahead to bring the people of the sky. Onansipieza ubani bega tita mabubesi impi Onansipieza ubani bega tita mabubesi They came to the side of a mountain. Scouts rode out to spy the land. Soldiers lay resting. Gibbous forces were soon at hand. And by the evening, vultures were waiting above the roads where the fallen lay. Ancient song, old as the ashes, echoed as MacGyver's warriors marched away. Onansipieza ubani bega tita mabubesi Yashinkani babe Yashinkani babe Onansipieza Semboni ubani bega tita mabubesi Yashinkani babe Yashinkani babe Onansipieza Semboni ubani bega tita mabubesi Yashikani babe Onansipieza Abanye kwanyami mandaba Ubani bega tita Asheni mi Thank you. I'm searching for the Spirit. I'm searching for the Spirit. Strange behavior. Every man has to be his own savior. I know I can make it on my own if I try. Oh, I'm searching for a great heart to stand me by underneath this African sky. A great heart to stand me by. I'm searching for the spirit of the great heart to hold and keep me. Searching for the spirit of the great heart until African sky. Sometimes I feel that you really know me. Sometimes there's so much you can show me. Stars across the heaven, whispering the song of the wind in the grass, rolling thunder across the savannah, a hope and a dream at the edge of that sky. And your life is a story like the wind. Your life is a story like the wind. I'm searching for the spirit of the great heart to hold and keep me. Searching for the spirit of the great heart until African sky. Sometimes I feel that you really know me. Sometimes there's so much you can show me.
Thank you very much. I'm often asked what is my favorite song that I ever wrote. I've got 18 albums over 4 decades, and I have a favorite song, but some people say, but that's not your best song. But for me, it's got a special place in my life. It was the song that stopped my academic career. After 12 years and 4 years of teaching, we got a top 40 hit in England with this song in 1983. And I was a teacher at Wits, and my partner Sipho Mqunu was a gardener in Houghton. And we decided to become full-time musicians and take a chance. And so off we went as Juluka, and we toured for 2 or 3 years. And then later on, as the Juluka project came to an end and the Savuka project began, we recorded our first Savuka album, and my producer said, why don't we do that song that broke Juluka? Let's record it again. And I was very upset with him, because I said, that song is been written already. You don't go to a painter and say, okay, repaint that song for a new exhibition, or rewrite that book. A song has been done, it's finished. He said, yes, but this version will have a snare drum and a few other changes. Anyway, we did that, and the song went to #1 in France, Switzerland, and Belgium, and launched my second band. So the song launched Savuka and Juluka and gave me an extended life touring. And I'd like to play the song tonight, but I just want to make reference to it. It's a song that celebrates Africa as the origins of mankind. Because as a teacher, as a lecturer in social anthropology at Wits, I had to spend 6 weeks in a special course to try and de-racialize culture. All of these young kids came out of apartheid schools, churches, homes. They had a lot of ideas, because we were 97% white. And if you wanted to come to Wits as a black student, you had to do a subject that wasn't available at Turfloop or any other black university. So the black students who managed to get in were doing things like phonetics and linguistics, or Russian or something. So it was a very, very a tough 6 weeks for me. And as far as we could understand from all the paleontological evidence that we had, we knew that the oldest human fossils came out of, at that time, Tanzania and the Olduvai Gorge. And this, together with a whole lot of other biological information, we knew that Homo sapiens is a single species, biologically and genetically. And I left in 1983, and genetics went through a huge explosion. And in 1985 and 86, a brand new discipline came onto into biology, called population genetics. Now, when you watch CSI and they do a genetic match, they do that through a thing called mitochondrial DNA. Now, the mitochondria, the human cell, has got a nucleus with all the genetic information. Every single cell in your body, the billions of cells, they can each make an exact replica of you. They can clone you. Now, the same thing happens inside the cell, because outside the nucleus is a little thing called the mitochondria, and it is an exact copy of the genetic information that's in the nucleus. So there's 2 copies. And this copy is passed down through mother and daughter, through the female line, okay? For generation after generation. The female line is stable. Forever you can follow. And they flashed on that. Yeah. So, all of those little moments where they track DNA, it's through mitochondrial, it's through the mitochondria that they do that. And in a famous work that came out around about 1989, called The 7 Daughters of Eve, they decided to do a population genetics analysis of Europe. And they tracked, at that time, I think it was 23 countries in Europe, they tracked all those populations back to 7 original females. And their mother came from Africa. There was only one group of people that didn't fit in. And we still don't know why. And they are the Basques in Spain. Their language also is not related to any other language. So, what we do know now, after many decades of population genetics, is that the first Homo sapiens sapiens came out of Africa somewhere between 70 and 100,000 years ago, and made it and spread across the planet. And we're all connected genetically as a species. There's a wonderful moment I saw on National Geographic where they got 8 people and they tracked them. So they take a swab of your mouth, and then they track you back through your mother and their daughters and mother and daughters, etc. And they found a Greek immigrant who had been in America for 4 or 5 generations, was a woman, and an American Indian from America had a common mother 8,000 years ago. And the American Indian couldn't accept it. So we are so obsessed with this idea of race and cultural purity and cultural. Those cultures that borrow the most, that are more open, are the most successful. Those cultures that are closed and don't want to learn from others, they die. So this song, this was part of the lectures that I used to give, man. And arguments that we used to have. So when I was released from this duty, I had to write a song about it. And that's my favorite song, because it's the bridging song between my 2 careers. And I'd like to play for you for now. Sun sinking low, scatterlings and fugitives, hooded eyes and weary brows, seek refuge in the night. They are the scatterlings of Africa, each uprooted one. Oh my yeah, on that road to Pelamanga, where the world began. I love the scatterlings of Africa, each and every one. Oh mama, yeah, in the hearts of burning hunger, beneath this copper sun. Oh ham, oh ham, oh ham, oh ham, oh ham, oh ham. Ancient bones from old Dubai, echoes of the very first cry. Who made me here and why? Beneath this copper sun, African idea, African idea. Make the future clear, make the future clear. And we are scatterlings of Africa, both you and I. Oh mama, yeah, we're on that road to Pelamanga, beneath this copper sky. And we are scatterlings of Africa, on a journey to the
You got to wash with the crocodile in the river. You got to swim with the sharks in the sea. You got to live with the crooked politician. Trust those things that you can never see. Ah, yeah, yeah, just it fun. Ah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah, just it fun. Ah, yeah, yeah. You got to trust your lover when you go away. Keep on believing tomorrow brings a better day. Sometimes you smile while you cry inside. Maybe once you walk away, the truth is shining bright. Ah, yeah, yeah, is it fun? Ah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah, is it fun? Ah, yeah, yeah. Cause it's a cool, crazy, beautiful world. Every day you wake, I hope it's under a blue sky. Oh, it's a cool, crazy, beautiful world. One day when you wake up, I will have to say goodbye. I say goodbye. It's your world, so live in it. Goodbye. It's your world, so live in it. Beyond the door, strange, cruel, beautiful years are waiting for you. I want you to know you won't escape loneliness. Maybe you'll lose hope too. Ah, yeah, yeah, just in fun. Ah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah, just in fun. Ah, yeah, yeah. Cool, crazy, beautiful world. Every day you wake up, I hope it's under a blue sky. It's a cool, crazy, beautiful world. One day when you wake up, I will have to say goodbye. I say goodbye. It's your world, so I say goodbye. It's your world, so when I hold your small body close to mine, you know I hope we get strong at the same time. Stop your ears, taking your wings to fly. Show you stars of guide you ship by. It's your world, so live in it. It's your world, so live in it, mama. It's your world, so live in it. It's your world, so come on, come on, come on. It's your world, so live in it. 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 Yeah, it's your world, so live in it. 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 Come on, come on. It's your world, so live in it. It's your world, so live in it. Thank you very much. It's been wonderful sharing my experiences with you tonight. Thank you. And as we move into December and into the new year, we wish you a wonderful
December, Christmas and New Year, and that 2018 will start shifting us out of our winter a little bit. I know it's going to take time, and you see, when you're 64 years old, you know how important time is. It's these amapungu namajongo silawa hey bajahile laba like there's no tomorrow. Izwe lakiwe ngesikhathi side. So let us keep building, and I want to remember in this song a very great inspiration and builder. Umaki Okina.
Asimbonanga uMandela thina laphe khona laphe hleli khona asimbonanga uMandela thina laphe khona laphe hleli khona.
Cold and the sky is gray. Look across the island into the bay. We are all islands till comes that day we cross the burning water. Asimbonanga uMandela laphe khona laphe hleli khona. Asimbonanga uMandela laphe khona laphe hleli khona. A seagull wings across the sea. Broken silence is what I dream. Who has the word to close the distance between you and me? Asimbonanga uMandela laphe khona laphe hleli khona. Asimbonanga uMandela laphe khona laphe hleli khona. Awuthi wena nawe zofika kini la siyakhona. Awuthi wena nawe zofika kini la siyakhona. Asimbonanga uMandela laphe khona laphe hleli khona.